Trees are perhaps the most challenging asset one can choose to make for Trainz. Unlike other assets, leaves are positioned at many varying angles, requiring lots of geometry to reproduce. However, one must keep game performance in mind, which can suffer with high poly counts, that is, the number of triangles that make up the asset. There are many tree-generating computer programs on the internet. Generally, they divide into two types. The first are those that are designed to make trees, such as SpeedTree, mTree, Albero, AnyTree, and the Blender add-on Sapling. The second are those that provide ready-made trees for adding to game scenes, such as Botanique, the Plant Library, Nisarga, Grove 3D, and Xfrog. Tree-generating programs, such as SpeedTree, can be expensive and are available only by subscription. Some programs, like mTree, are not available for the Mac. Programs like AnyTree are difficult to use, while many, like Tree Generator, due to lack of controls, limit the creation of trees with sufficient realism. Programs with pre-existing libraries tend to be expensive, with subscription fees rather than a one-time purchase. Also, the libraries are covered by copyright. You can use the trees in your game roots, but you cannot upload the trees or the roots containing them to Trainz download station, or otherwise offer them freely or for sale. After perusing the programs available on the internet, it seemed to me that the current best approach to making trees for Trainz is to use Blender to build the trees from scratch. In some cases, you might use some aspects of Sapling, Blender's tree-generating add-on. In particular, you might use one of the presets to create the trunk and branches and the general shape of the tree. But then you will probably want to take photos of the leaves or download images from the internet to get true-to-life looking trees. You will also want to create levels of detail to enhance the game performance. There are several good video tutorials on the internet that can help you make tree assets for Trainz. One that I would highly recommend is Alexandr Kiryanov's Blender mini course, Make a Tree. A link is provided in the description of this video. In this course, we are going to make a sugar maple sapling. I have chosen a sapling so that for demonstrating techniques, things don't become too repetitive by having many branches to construct. I could have used any tree. I've chosen the sugar maple as it has striking colors in the fall. Sugar maples are native to eastern Canada and the northeastern parts of the United States. In addition to Blender, I will be using a few Blender add-ons that are relatively inexpensive, notably Origin 2 Selected, UV Packmaster 3, Bake Wrangler, and PBR Painter. I will also be using GIMP, that, like Blender, is free open source software. To manipulate images, you will also need a vector graphics program and a raster graphics program. Since I do most of my modeling on a Mac, I will be using Graphic by Picta and Pixelmator Pro by the Pixelmator team. You might also consider GIMP, Inkscape, or more costly programs such as Photoshop. We'll begin modeling our tree by using Bezier curves and the pen tool to lay out the trunk and branches. Using proportional editing, we will taper the branches. Next, having made the trunk and branches hexagonal, we will attach the branches to the trunk by removing two faces on the trunk, then bridging the edge loops. With the branches complete, we will add the leaves as images as planes. We will use weight painting to determine where the leaves will be placed. Then add the leaves using Blender's particle system. We will texture the trunk using PBR Painter. We will generate the texture files for the leaves using Bake Wrangler's Bake Node Editor, and use GIMP to combine the textures to create the parameters file. With the summer textures in place, we will create the fall colors, winter skeleton, and budding spring trees. We will then create the levels of detail using N3V's Blender LOD add-on. Finally, we will import our texture files and our model as FBX files into Trainz and create a Trainz asset. This overview of how to model a tree will focus on the mechanics of making a tree for Trainz. Applying artistry to make your tree look realistic should then be possible. So let's get started.